I just pulled 53 pounds of sweet potatoes out of a trash bag. Not a raised bed, not a garden plot, a trash bag that cost $1.25. And the crazy part? The trash bag outperformed my in-ground sweet potatoes by almost double per square foot. This isn't a gimmick. This is a method I've tested for 3 seasons, and the results are so good, I stopped planting sweet potatoes any other way. Let me show you exactly how this works. Here's what most people don't understand about sweet potatoes. They're not like tomatoes or peppers that need deep soil to anchor a tall plant. Sweet potatoes are tubers. They grow horizontally. They spread wide. And that's exactly why trash bags work so well. When you plant sweet potatoes in the ground, you're fighting compacted soil, clay pockets, rocks, competition from weeds. But when you plant in a trash bag, you control everything. The soil stays loose. The tubers grow fat instead of fighting through hard dirt. And because the bag heats up faster than ground soil, your sweet potatoes get a jump start on growth. I tested this side by side last season. Same variety, same planting date, same watering schedule. The in-ground plot gave me 28 pounds from 6 slips. The trash bags gave me 53 pounds from 6 slips. That's almost double the yield from the exact same number of plants. And it gets better. Sweet potatoes grown in bags are cleaner. No digging through clay. No slicing tubers with a shovel by accident. You just cut open the bag and pick them up. But here's where most people mess this up. They use the wrong type of bag. They fill it with the wrong soil mix, and they plant the slips incorrectly. So the bags either collapse, or the sweet potatoes stay small, or the whole thing turns into a soggy, rotten mess. I'm going to walk you through the exact setup that avoids all of that. But first, I need to know something. Drop a comment right now and tell me what country you're watching from. I've got viewers in Australia growing these in bags during their summer, and people in Canada extending their season with this method. Tell me where you're growing. Now, let's talk about the bag itself. Not all trash bags work for this. You need a heavy-duty lawn and leaf bag, the thick black ones that come in a roll. Do not use kitchen trash bags. They're too thin. They'll rip apart when the soil gets wet and heavy. Do not use clear bags. Sweet potatoes need darkness around the tubers, or they turn green and bitter. The bags I use are 45-gallon heavy-duty black lawn bags. You can get a box of 20 for $8 at any hardware store. That's 40 cents per bag, and each bag will give you 8 to 10 pounds of sweet potatoes, if you do this right. Here's the prep process. Step 1. Poke drainage holes. Use a knife or scissors and cut 6 to 8 slits in the bottom of the bag. Each slit should be about 2 inches long. This is critical. Without drainage, your soil stays waterlogged and your sweet potato slips rot before they even establish roots. But don't go crazy with holes. Too many and the soil dries out too fast. 6 to 8 slits is the sweet spot. Step 2. Roll down the top of the bag. Fold the top edge down about 6 inches so the bag stands upright on its own. This gives you a stable container that won't tip over when you water. As your sweet potato vines grow, you can unroll the bag to add more soil. I'll explain why that matters in a minute. Step 3. Place your bag in full sun. Sweet potatoes need at least 8 hours of direct sunlight to produce heavy yields. If you put your bag in partial shade, you'll get vines, but small tubers. Find the sunniest spot in your yard, concrete patio, driveway edge, anywhere that bakes in the sun all day. Now here's the mistake I see beginners make. They fill the bag all the way to the top with soil right away. Don't do that. You're going to start with the bag only half full. Then you'll add soil in stages as the vines grow. This technique is called hilling, and it's the secret to growing bigger sweet potatoes in bags. Let me explain the soil mix next. Most people use plain potting soil and wonder why their sweet potatoes stay small. Sweet potatoes need loose, aerated soil with good drainage, but they also need enough organic matter to hold moisture during hot weather. Here's the mix I use. 50% compost, not bagged potting mix, actual compost. This gives you the nutrients sweet potatoes need without over-fertilizing. 30% peat moss or cocoa coir. This keeps the soil light and prevents compaction as the tubers swell. 20% perlite or coarse sand. This creates air pockets so roots can spread easily. Mix these 3 ingredients in a wheelbarrow or large tub before filling your bags. For one 45-gallon bag, you'll need about 4 gallons of this mix to start. That's roughly half a bag of compost, a third of a small bale of peat moss, and a quart of perlite. Total cost per bag? About $3 if you're buying everything, less if you make your own compost. Now here's the technique nobody talks about. Do not add fertilizer to your soil mix. Sweet potatoes are light feeders. If you add nitrogen-heavy fertilizer, they'll grow huge vines, but tiny tubers. The compost in your mix has all the nutrients they need. More than that, and you're wasting money and reducing your harvest. Fill your trash bag halfway with this soil mix. Smooth the top. Make sure it's loose and fluffy. Now you're ready to plant. But if you plant your slips wrong, everything falls apart. Let me show you the method that guarantees strong root development. Most people plant sweet potato slips like they're planting seedlings. They dig a little hole, drop the slip in, cover the roots, done. That works for tomatoes. It doesn't work for sweet potatoes. Here's why. Sweet potato slips need to develop roots along the buried stem, not just at the base. The more stem you bury, the more roots you get, and more roots means bigger tubers. Here's the planting technique. Step 1. Choose healthy slips. You want slips that are 6 to 8 inches long, with at least 4 leaves. Avoid slips with yellow leaves or brown stems. Those are stressed and won't establish well. You can buy slips online or grow your own from a sweet potato. I've got a video on that if you need it. Step 2. Remove the bottom 2 sets of leaves. Pinch off the leaves on the lower half of the slip. Leave the top leaves intact. This exposed stem is what you're going to bury, and those leaf nodes are where roots will form. Step 3. Push the slip into the soil at an angle. Don't plant it straight up and down. Angle it at about 45 degrees, so half the stem is buried horizontally under the soil. This maximizes root contact with soil and encourages tuber formation along the entire buried stem. Firm the soil gently around the slip. Water it in thoroughly. For a 45-gallon trash bag, I plant 2 slips per bag. Some people plant 3 or 4, but I found that 2 slips give each plant enough room to develop large tubers without competing. Now, here's the part that confuses people. For the first week, your slips will look terrible. They'll wilt, the leaves will droop, you'll think they're dying. They're not. This is transplant shock. The slips are focusing energy on root development instead of keeping leaves perky. Keep the soil moist but not soggy. Within 7 to 10 days, the slips will perk up and start growing new leaves. Once that happens, your sweet potatoes are off to the races. But watering is where most people either drown their plants or let them dry out. Let me give you the exact watering strategy. Sweet potatoes are drought tolerant once established, but they need consistent moisture during the first month to develop strong roots. Here's the watering schedule. Week 1 through 4. Water every 2 to 3 days, depending on your weather. Stick your finger 2 inches into the soil. If it's dry, water deeply until you see drainage from the bottom slits. Do not let the soil dry out completely during this phase. Stressed slips produce small tubers. After week 4, your sweet potatoes are established. Now you can cut back to watering once a week. Sweet potatoes actually produce sweeter tubers when they experience mild water stress during tuber development. Too much water and they grow fast but taste bland. So once your vines are growing aggressively, only water when the top 3 inches of soil are dry. Now here's the hilling technique that increases your harvest. After about 6 weeks, your vines will be spilling over the edge of the bag. This is when you unroll the top of the bag and add more soil. Pour in another 2 to 3 gallons of your soil mix around the base of the vines. Bury the lower stems that are trailing on the ground. This encourages the plant to form more tubers along those buried nodes. I do this twice during the growing season, once at 6 weeks, once at 12 weeks. Each time I add soil, I'm creating more space for tubers to develop. This is how I've gotten trash bags to produce over 50 pounds. Without hilling, you'll get maybe 20 to 30 pounds from the same setup. But here's the thing nobody warns you about. Your sweet potato vines are going to go crazy. They'll spread 10 feet in every direction if you let them. And this is where people panic and make a huge mistake. Around week 8, your sweet potato vines will start taking over your yard. They'll crawl across the lawn, climb over other plants, cover everything in sight. Most gardeners see this and think they need to trim the vines back. Do not cut the vines. Sweet potato vines are solar panels. Every leaf is capturing sunlight and converting it into energy that gets stored in the tubers underground. When you cut vines, you reduce the plant's ability to create sugars, and smaller vines mean smaller sweet potatoes. But you also don't want the vines rooting into the ground outside the bag. Here's why that's a problem. When sweet potato vines touch soil, they send down roots and start forming tubers at those spots. This diverts energy away from the tubers in your bag. So instead of cutting vines, you redirect them. Every few weeks, walk around your bags and lift any vines that have rooted into the ground. Coil them back on top of the soil in the bag or drape them over a trellis. Some people use tomato cages stuck in the bag to train vines upward. This works if you're short on space. But honestly, I just let my vines sprawl. I check once a week and pull up any roots forming outside the bag. This keeps all the plant's energy focused on the tubers inside the trash bag, where I want them. Now let's talk about what happens during the final growth phase. Around week 16, something shifts. The vines slow down. The leaves start to yellow slightly at the base. This is normal. Your sweet potatoes are entering the final tuber bulking stage. All the energy is going underground now. This is when you stop watering so much. For the last 3 weeks before harvest, I only water if we go more than 10 days without rain. Drier soil at the end of the season concentrates sugars in the tubers. It also toughens the skin, which helps them store longer after harvest. But here's the question everyone asks. How do you know when they're actually ready to dig? Let me show you the signs. Sweet potatoes are ready to harvest when the vines start dying back naturally, or when you hit your first frost. In warm climates, you can leave them in the bags for up to 5 months after planting. In cooler climates, you're looking at 3 to 4 months. Here's what I watch for. Sign 1. The vines stop producing new growth. When your plant stops sending out fresh shoots and the existing vines just maintain, it's getting close to harvest time. Sign 2. Lower leaves start turning yellow. This isn't a problem. It's the plant redirecting energy from old foliage into the tubers. Sign 3. Frost warning in your area. Sweet potatoes are tropical plants. They hate frost. If temperatures are going to drop below 40 degrees, you need to harvest immediately or your tubers will rot in the bag. I usually harvest around week 18 to 20, depending on weather. Here's the exact process. Stop watering completely for 1 week before harvest. This dries out the soil slightly and makes the tubers easier to cure. Then cut the vines back to about 6 inches above the soil line. You can compost the vines or feed them to chickens if you have them. Now comes the fun part. Lay the trash bag on its side. Use a knife to cut the bag open from top to bottom. Peel the plastic away from the soil and start digging with your hands. Do not use tools. Sweet potato skins are thin and easy to damage. Bruised sweet potatoes rot in storage. Gently sift through the soil and pull out every tuber you find. I've had bags where the sweet potatoes were stacked on top of each other. 15 to 20 tubers per bag, some weighing over 2 pounds each. Brush off the excess dirt, but don't wash them. Washing removes the protective skin layer. Lay your sweet potatoes in a single layer in a warm, dry spot for 10 to 14 days. This is called curing, and it's what makes them sweet. During curing, the starches convert to sugars and the skins harden. After 2 weeks, your sweet potatoes are ready to eat or store. Cured sweet potatoes stored in a cool, dark place will last 6 months easily. Now let me tell you what this looks like in real numbers. Last season I ran 6 trash bags. Each bag cost me 40 cents. The soil mix cost $3 per bag. The slips cost $1 each. Total investment per bag was $5.40. I planted 2 slips per bag, 12 slips total across 6 bags. Here's what I harvested. Bag 1, 48 pounds. Bag 2, 53 pounds. Bag 3, 41 pounds. Bag 4, 55 pounds. Bag 5, 39 pounds. Bag 6, 46 pounds. Total harvest, 282 pounds of sweet potatoes. From $32.40 in materials. Organic sweet potatoes at the grocery store cost about $2.50 per pound. My harvest was worth over $700. That's a 2,100% return on investment. And that's not even counting the fact that I can reuse the soil mix next season by adding fresh compost. But here's what really matters. This method works in tiny spaces. You don't need a backyard. You can line trash bags along a driveway, on a balcony, in a corner of a parking lot. Anywhere you have sun, you can grow 50 pounds of sweet potatoes in a trash bag. And unlike in-ground gardens, you're not fighting weeds. Pests are minimal because the bags heat up and discourage soil insects. And you can move the bags if you need to. I've had people tell me they're growing these on apartment balconies, on rooftops, in urban lots where the soil is contaminated. The trash bag method gives you complete control. Now let me wrap this up with the one thing you need to remember. If you take one thing from this video, it's this. You don't need land to grow serious food. You need a system. And this trash bag method is one of the highest yielding systems per square foot that I've ever tested. 50 pounds of sweet potatoes from 1 bag, 2 bags, and you fed a family for months. If you want to see me compare laundry baskets versus trash bags for growing potatoes, I've got that video ready for you next. Click it, watch it, try this method yourself, and keep growing your green haven home. I'll see you in the next one.